lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and today I have got 4 fall Dollar Tree DIYs for you, so let's get into it. For the first DIY, we're going to be transforming one of these little Dollar Tree mason jars. I actually bought a case of these last year, but if you can't find this or don't have any of these in your stash right now, you can totally use a real mason jar for this project. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take off this twine. I will put it aside because I'm going to be using it later. Once I get that off, I'm going to remove the labels by hitting it with my heat gun. And then, of course, the glitter's got to come off. So the way that I prefer to get glitter off is I spray it with some Goo Gone, simply scrape across it with my scraper. It clumps all up, wipe it down, and ta-da, it's all finished.
Tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world.
Now it's time to paint the mason jars. So I'm going to be using the Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I'm going to end up putting 2 coats on the mason jar.
I don't know what I'd do without you. You make me smile, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon.
My mason jar is all dry, so now I'm ready to figure out which fabric I want to use for the top of the mason jar. So I ran to my Hobby Lobby and they had tons of different cute fabrics. I ended up picking up these 2 because I thought I would be able to use them throughout the season. One's the orange and white check, and then this one's kind of an off-white with a deeper orange polka dot. In the end, I go with the orange and white check, but I did want to show you these 2 right here. These came from the Crafter's Square at Hobby Lobby. If you have the little fabric bins, dig, 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 because these were not visible, and I went and dug past all the little stars and crayon fabric and the little unicorns, and those were all at the bottom. So dig, 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 you may find them. Once I have decided which fabric I wanted to use, which I still wasn't quite sure, I went ahead and grabbed my labels that I made. This is a free printable that I will definitely link down below that you guys can use. And I decided I needed to figure out which one of these labels I wanted to use to kind of help me decide on the fabric. So in the end, I decided to use the Aunt Martha's Pumpkin Butter. I do not have an Aunt Martha. I just thought the name sounded cool, so that is why it says Aunt Martha. Once I get this cut out, then I knew that I wanted to use the orange and white checked fabric with it.
You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you.
To get the fabric cut, what I did is I folded the fabric in half and made it to where it was about 4 inches when I folded it in half. Then from there, I took my little mason jar and I set it on there, and then I did about 2 inches on each side of the mason jar. And then I just kind of free-handed cutting it. It's going to be more of an oval is kind of what you're going for versus a circle.
You just wanna be with you till we grow old. You tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set
I'm ready to go ahead and get this fabric attached. Now, I did not glue this fabric down in any way. I just got it on top where I wanted it to go. And then I'm just going to work this twine back on to the top of the mason jar. This was the twine that I took off in the very, very beginning. A piece of it came loose, so I just took a little bit of hot glue to secure that back in place so that it was good to go. And then to attach my label, I am just going to use a very thin coat of Mod Podge, but you certainly could use a glue stick, you could use spray adhesive, you could use whatever you want. I didn't seal over the top of it. I literally just put a little bit here and that was it. And then the last thing I did was I toyed around with the idea of maybe adding a little wooden pumpkin to it and doing like a price tag that said like 25 cents, but I opted not to do that in the end, but that is an option as well.
I just want you, I just need you, I don't know what it is you do.
The next DIY is super easy. It's embarrassing. So this little sign came from the Dollar Tree, and what I'm doing is going ahead and putting 2 coats of the Waverly White chalk paint on it. I just wanted to tone down the super shininess of it. I was not a fan. And so once I got that painted and it was nice and dry, I was ready to attach what I needed to. I got this truck. It was actually part of a 16 pack. There's 2 different trucks in this set, and you can get it at Hobby Lobby. It was about $3 after the 40% off, so you get 16 trucks for $3, and they're super cute. So I went ahead and kind of set it down so I knew where I needed to put my stencil. I made the pick your own stencil on my Cricut machine, and then all I'm going to do is go ahead and apply the stencil, put a little hot glue on the truck, and this sign is finished.
I just need you, I don't know what it is you do. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Just tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. Set my world on fire.
For the third DIY, you need to pick up 4 mason jars from Dollar Tree. These are the mason jars that have the gold lids. You're also going to need 4 fall colors. I've got moss, maize, pumpkin, and crimson, all from Waverly. I do end up substituting the maize for the curry color right before I started painting because I wanted a deeper yellow. Once I get the labels removed from the jars, I'm going to go in and give each of these jars 3 coats of paint, making sure that I let it dry really, really good in between each coat. That's the hardest part when you're doing chalk painting, especially on these mason jars, is because if you don't let it dry really, really good, it'll start to rub off the paint and then it becomes a hot mess. So just make sure between each coat you let it dry really, really good.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. Tired snowflakes are coming down, collapse into water when they hit the ground.
While the jars are drying, I'm going to get these little medallions ready to go. So I had one of them, but I needed 3 more. And so I had to break down some of the Dollar Tree pictures to get 3 more. And if you see a little remnants of bandage there on the inside of my palm, those of you who follow me on Instagram know what I did. I basically gouged and burned myself. And we'll just leave it at that. So I took some of the plaster Waverly chalk paint and I'm painting 2 coats on each of these medallions. While those are drying, I'm going to take a little piece of Dollar Tree, it's just a little scrap piece of their contact paper, and I knew that I wanted to do a silver rim around the circle, so I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 circles on this contact paper, and then I'm going to cut them out.
Sound of empty streets. Yesterday has gone to sleep, so all that's left is you and me. I can promise you're the only thing I see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away.
Once I started to get them cut out, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and put it on the center of the circle. I will link that stencil, if I can still find it, on Amazon down below. If you're looking for a good stencil that has a ton of size of circles, I love it. It's great. And I'm just going to do the same for the other 3 pieces here. Just cut them out. And again, just stick them down onto the medallions, making sure that they're pushed down really, really good.
Secret place. place for you and me. Let our minds be caught up in a dream.
Once the medallions were covered with the little piece of contact paper, I took some of this metallic galvanized tin paint. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to go in and paint all around the edges, the part that's exposed right there, and just give it 2 good coats of paint, and then I will go in and peel off all the little pieces of contact paper and end up with a nice little circle in the center of the plaster Waverly chalk paint.
Quiet voices in the night. Time is running out of sight. A lonely wind is passing by. Tries to carry all the whispers that it finds. The walls are listening.
Once the medallions were ready, I just am going to take some stickers from this Remarks pack. It came from Hobby Lobby, and I love this pack. I have been using it for quite a while. It comes with tons of stickers, and I'm just going to pull off the F-A-L and L so I can spell fall. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and start working on my mason jars. So for each of these, I'm just going to take a piece of burlap ribbon and wrap it around the center, and I'm just going to secure it to the mason jar with some hot glue.
Making echoes as we walk. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me. Let our minds be caught up in a dream.
Once the burlap ribbon is on, I'm going to take a group of raffia. I don't know, it's about 5 or 6 pieces. And here you can see I'm twisting it in opposite directions. And what this will allow is for me to kind of wrap it around the top of the mason jar, and it doesn't get all wonky and take up a lot of space. I just wanted it a little more streamlined than that. And then I'm going to pull it in and just tie a bow. Once I get the bow tied, I'm just going to trim off the extra raffia. All the jars have got the raffia and the burlap on them, and so the last step is just to attach the little medallions. And so I'm just going to use some hot glue and just glue these on to the little center part of the burlap ribbon, and that's it. This project is all finished.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see.
The last Dollar Tree DIY is going to be a candle holder. One of my subscribers and followers sent me a picture of this and said Bath & Body Works is selling this, but it's one of those items it's impossible to get a hold of, and she was seeing it for like $65, $70, and I saw it and I thought, oh, that's really cute because I have a ton of Bath & Body Works candles, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to remake it. So this is my take on that candle holder. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to fill in the hole with some spackle. Once that's nice and filled in, I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to sand the very top of the circle along with all the sides.
I can try if you let me. With our lives I am bleeding. Who am I without stories that aren't mine?
So this is the glass vase that you're going to want to pick up from Dollar Tree. Now, if you want to make your thing a little closer to what it is, they do sell the flat glass candle holders you can get. It's going to be a little bit large on top, and I was trying to make mine to where it was pretty true to size as the one that I saw in the picture. So it's up to you. You could get a glass plate if you wanted to. So there's a couple options. So what I'm doing now is just taking some washi tape, and I am taping so that I can paint a gold stripe around the top of this little glass vase. There's going to be a big oopsie here in a little bit, so you can just wait for that excitement. But yeah, I'm going to get this taped off, and then I'm going to start painting it with some of the Arteza gold paint.
Without stories that aren't mine. What I did to achieve you gave me air, thought I had to. I'm untrue, it's not pretty, the truth hurts.
The first coat of paint is on my glass vase, so I'm going to take this wooden leaf that also came from Dollar Tree last year. It was part of their little wooden stickers, and I'm going to paint that with the gold Arteza paint. And then the pumpkins for inside the glass vase, I kind of messed around with the numbers, but what you're going to end up in the end is you're going to need 2 of the orange size of this one right here. You're going to want to pull the stems off and go ahead and paint those both gold. And then 1 of the small mini ones from the 4-pack that they have this year, you're going to want 1 of these, and you're going to want to paint that stem. So you have 3 stems to paint gold and 1 leaf. Just disregard the extra stems because I was a little overly excited about how many pumpkins I could actually shove up in there. So again, just 2 of the bigger pumpkins and 1 of the smaller ones.
Stayed on the ground while I was high. Yes, you've been here before.
All right, you've got to do a little surgery on one of the pumpkins. So this one here, I'm just kind of trimming off a little bit of the end so that I can kind of smash it into my other orange pumpkin that's sitting right there. And then the small ones are totally fine. Like I said, I was thinking I was going to put 4 or 5 pumpkins in this thing, but I ended up with only 3. And then once I get these trimmed down, I'm going to paint them with 3 coats of the Waverly White chalk paint.
Now I don't know what to say. I expect you to leave. I deserve to be unheard, but I want you to see that you are the reason why I try. I don't know what you're thinking, but I know.
Then I grabbed one of these round floral foam things from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to literally cut it right down the middle. I'm just using a little bit of my craft knife, and then I just busted in there with some scissors. Normally I would recommend using a serrated knife, but I didn't have one upstairs. And then once this was cut in half, I am going to take some of the reindeer moss, also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to cover the floral foam entirely with the moss.
I have crushed and burned someone before, and now I'm afraid of the person I'm pretending to be, but I'm more afraid to tell you.
Okay, so in just a second, the oopsie's coming. I wasn't planning on showing you this, but you know what? Real life crafting. So I took the first piece of washi tape off. No big issue. Go to peel the second piece off. And I'm sorry about the camera work. Like I said, I wasn't planning on showing you this. Yeah, it peeled off pretty much all of the paint. All of the paint except for this tiny gold sliver, which was left up there in the corner that I then went and peeled off. Yeah, so that just wasn't meant to be. So what I did was take another piece of washi tape, I taped it around the base, and then I proceeded to paint the entire top of the glass vase. And I was just very, very precise what I did. I painted it, I hit it with my heat gun, I painted another coat, heat gun, paint, another coat, and then I immediately peeled the washi tape off, and I was good to go.
Right now, I'm gonna turn you against me. 'Cause baby, you stayed on the ground while I was high. Yes, you've been here before. You closed the
Now I'm ready to attach my vase to my wooden piece. Now you'll notice at the top of my vase there, I didn't really paint that because you're not going to see it. It's up to you if you want to paint it. And I'm just going to take some of this clear Gorilla Glue adhesive, and I'm going to put some on the vase. And then I'm going to stick the vase on top of the wooden circle and then let that set up overnight. Once the candle base was assembled, I just took more of that gold Arteza paint and went ahead and painted the wooden circle with one good coat of the Arteza paint. Now, as you can see, I still hadn't decided about how many pumpkins I was going to use, but I did want to secure the stems into the pumpkins, so I'm going to use some hot glue to do that. Then I mess around trying to put the pumpkins in there and see what I like, and ultimately, like I said, I ended up with 2 of the larger pumpkins and 1 of the small. So I hot glued the 2 pumpkins together, and then after looking at them, I did not like that space that was between them, so I just took some spackling and I filled that in, and then I just painted it with white, and then I just hot glued all of these down to the top of the green reindeer moss. The last step was to hot glue the gold leaf to the glass vase. Now, I did not add any extra base to this because I wanted to actually be able to use this possibly for Christmas, and I could very easily just pop this gold leaf off because hot glue on glass pops off really easily. And so I didn't secure it that way, but if you wanted to, I would recommend cutting a cardboard circle and then just putting some moss on top of that, and you can kind of shove that up in the bottom if you want it a little more secure. But otherwise, this DIY is all finished. There you go, 4 more fall DIYs, all from Dollar Tree supplies. Let me know down below which one of these was your favorite. Also, let me know, when do you decorate for fall? I would love to know because while I am making tons of DIYs, I have yet to decorate. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Here are some more videos that you might really enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!